You're not just tired, you're exhausted in a way that sleep can never fix. It feels like something inside you has been fighting quietly for too long, and now it's starting to break. Lately, everything feels heavier than it should. Even the smallest things drain your energy. You wake up, you try to move forward, but it feels like life keeps pulling you back every single time. You smile in front of people, but deep inside something feels completely off. It is like you are slowly losing yourself, and you cannot even explain when it started happening. You have been questioning everything: your path, your decisions, even your own worth. No matter how hard you try, nothing seems to go the way you expected anymore. And the scariest part is the thought that maybe this will never change. That maybe this weight you are carrying is not temporary, and this is just how life is going to feel now. But here is the truth that most people never realize in moments like this. When everything starts to feel this hard, it usually means something inside your life is about to shift. Because right before a breakthrough, everything begins to feel like it is falling apart. And if you're feeling all of this right now, then you're not breaking, you're changing. You felt it before you understood it. That sudden shift where life stopped feeling normal and started feeling heavy in a way you could not explain. It was not one big moment. It was a slow pressure building inside you, quietly turning simple days into something that feels harder to carry. And now you sit with this feeling, wondering why everything that once felt easy suddenly feels like a struggle. You wake up with less energy, even after resting, as if your mind has been working all night without giving you peace. There is a constant weight on your chest that follows you through the day, making even small tasks feel overwhelming. You try to push through it, but the more you try, the more resistance you seem to feel from life itself. You start questioning everything: your direction, your choices, and even your own abilities in ways you never did before. It feels like you are losing clarity, like the path that once made sense is now covered in uncertainty and doubt. And deep down, there is a quiet fear that maybe you are the problem. Maybe you're the reason things feel this hard. But what you do not realize is that this feeling is not random, and it is not meaningless. There is something deeper happening within you. Something that is forcing you to outgrow the version of yourself you once were. Growth does not feel exciting in moments like this. It feels like pressure, confusion, and emotional weight. You are being pushed into a space where your old habits no longer comfort you the same way. The things that once distracted you now feel empty, and the noise around you no longer fills the silence inside. This is where most people feel lost, because they mistake this discomfort for failure instead of transformation. There is a reason this phase feels so intense, and it is because you are standing between who you were and who you are becoming. You cannot go back, but you are not fully there yet. And that space in between feels unstable and overwhelming. It feels like everything is breaking, but in reality, something inside you is being rebuilt in a stronger way. And even though it feels like you are losing control, something deeper is actually guiding this entire process. This pressure is shaping you, refining you, and preparing you for a version of life you are not fully able to see yet. So if everything feels hard right now, it is not because you're weak. It is because you're changing at a level you cannot ignore anymore. There are moments now where you pause in the middle of your day and feel completely disconnected from everything around you. It is not just stress or tiredness. It is a deep emotional shift that makes everything feel distant and hard to recognize. You look at your life and quietly wonder how something that once felt clear has now become so confusing. You start to notice that your patience is thinner, and your thoughts are heavier than they used to be. Small problems feel bigger, simple decisions feel overwhelming, and your mind refuses to stay calm. It feels like you are carrying something invisible that keeps pulling your energy down, no matter how hard you try. At times, you question if you are falling behind while everyone else seems to be moving forward with ease. You compare your progress, your life, your journey, and it slowly begins to affect how you see yourself. That quiet voice inside you becomes louder, making you doubt things you once felt confident about. But what makes this even harder is that you do not feel understood by the people around you. Even if you try to explain it, the words never fully capture what is actually happening inside you. So you stay silent, carrying everything within, hoping it will pass on its own. You try to distract yourself with work, entertainment, or anything that keeps your mind busy for a while. But the moment everything becomes quiet again, that same feeling returns, stronger than before. It is like something inside you refuses to be ignored any longer and demands your attention. This is where frustration begins to grow, because you feel stuck between effort and results. You are trying, you are pushing forward, but nothing seems to change the way you hoped it would. It feels like you are moving, but not actually getting anywhere that brings you peace. And slowly, without realizing it, this feeling starts to affect how you see your future. What once felt possible now feels uncertain, and that uncertainty creates a quiet fear inside you. But this phase is not here to stop you. It is here to force you to see something deeper within yourself. There is a point in this phase where even your own thoughts start to feel unfamiliar to you. You sit alone and realize that the way you see life is slowly changing without your permission. It feels like something inside you is rewriting your emotions in silence, and you cannot stop it. You begin to lose interest in things that once excited you without any clear reason. It is not that you want to give up. It is that your inner world no longer responds the same way. And this creates a strange emptiness that is hard to explain to anyone else. There are nights when your mind becomes louder than the world around you. You lie down, but your thoughts refuse to rest, replaying everything you tried to ignore during the day. And in that silence, you start confronting parts of yourself you never paid attention to before. You start realizing that you cannot escape this feeling by distracting yourself anymore. Every attempt to run from it only brings you back closer to the same internal truth. And that truth feels uncomfortable because it forces you to face your own reality. This is the stage where silence begins to speak louder than words ever could. You begin to notice details about yourself that you ignored for a long time. And slowly, you understand that something deeper is trying to wake up inside you. But the process does not feel peaceful at first. It feels confusing and emotionally heavy. Because growth does not arrive in comfort. It arrives in moments where you feel lost. And this loss is what makes you question everything you once believed about yourself. Yet deep inside, there is still a part of you that refuses to give up completely. Even in this confusion, something in you keeps searching for meaning and direction. And that is the part of you that is quietly preparing for what comes next. There comes a moment in this journey where you stop fighting the feeling and start realizing that it is not leaving easily. It is as if life itself is forcing you to slow down and face something you have been avoiding for a long time. And in that silence, you begin to understand that this discomfort is not random but deeply intentional. You start feeling like the old version of you does not fit into your life anymore. The way you used to think, react, and dream suddenly feels like it belongs to someone else. And this creates an internal conflict that you cannot explain but deeply feel. There are moments where you feel completely alone, even when everything around you is normal. It is not physical isolation. It is an emotional distance that no one else can see or understand. And in that space, your inner voice becomes louder than anything outside. You begin to question whether you are breaking down or being rebuilt from within. Because everything that once felt stable now feels uncertain and unstable at the same time. And that confusion becomes the place where transformation silently begins. The fear inside you tries to convince you that something is going wrong. But another deeper part of you feels that something important is finally being revealed. And you stand in between fear and awakening, without knowing which one is real. This is the stage where surrender begins to replace resistance without you even noticing it. You stop trying to control everything and start observing what is actually happening inside you. And that is where the shift begins to feel different, almost spiritual in nature. Because once you stop resisting, you start seeing that this process has been guiding you all along. What felt like destruction was actually preparation for something stronger to emerge within you. And even though it is still not fully clear, hope begins to quietly return inside you. This is the point where everything you went through starts to make a different kind of sense. Not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because you stop expecting it to be easy in the first place. And in that acceptance, something inside you finally stops resisting what was always meant to change you. You realize that the heaviness was never here to destroy you. It was here to strip away what you were not. Every moment that felt like breaking was actually shaping you into something more aware, more awake, more real. And slowly, you start to feel a strength that does not come from comfort, but from surviving what once overwhelmed you. The same thoughts that once made you doubt yourself no longer control you the way they used to. You begin to observe them instead of becoming them, and that distance changes everything inside your mind. Because for the first time, you are not running from yourself anymore. And now you understand something that most people only realize after they break and rebuild themselves. That the hardest phases of life are not punishments. They are transitions into a stronger version of you. A version that cannot be created without pressure, silence, and deep inner change. But even after understanding this, the memory of what you felt will never fully disappear. Because pain like this leaves behind awareness, and awareness changes how you see everything forever. You will never look at struggle the same way again after this moment. And here is the truth that stays with you long. After this feeling passes, you were not falling apart. You were being rebuilt in silence while everything inside you was being tested. And what survived this process is something stronger than who you were before. So if you're still in this phase right now, do not call it the end of your story. Because this is the moment where everything breaks. So something real inside you can finally rise. And when you look back one day, you will understand that this was the beginning of everything changing for you.